thought it would have been Moeen Ali for me. Even when Morgan retired, I think Moeen Ali would have been perfect. But I think
I think
James Vince should be that guy.
you know I'd always fight Moeen's corner. I always said he should have taken over from Morgan. He was tactically better than Butler, and he had a lot of a calmer head, and he wasn't as shy as Butler either. So I feel like he should have been the captain from the get go. But yeah, that's it. That's a topic for another time. But someone on Twitter mentioned Luis Gregory, and it got me thinking. Ooh, that's a bit of an outside shout. I think he's got some England experience, and he's got experienced captain as well. But I think Vince is a good shout. I wasn't sold on it before, but I just don't want to put any more pressure on Brookie because I feel like you gotta let him score the runs. Look at what happened to Butler. He was England's best player on paper, and you give him the same thing that happened to Root. You give the best player the captaincy, and they suffered. The batting suffered as a result. So you just gotta let Brook establish himself as a thing, and maybe in 2027, Brook might be ready for a captaincy to take over from James Vince or whoever's captain. But for now, I think you just gotta let Brook flourish as a ODI player and just be Harry Brook the batsman and not Harry Brook the captain, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the way that the best way you kind of look at that is, um, the best way you look at it is you've got a plethora of resources. We don't have players that are, not capable. We have loads of players that are capable of the captaincy role. Like you look at other nations like Pakistan, for example, there are not many people that you could tip your cap up and say, you know what, you'd be a captain, because there's so many politics. But with England, there's like loads of different players that you could say, okay, he'd be quite decent, he'd be all right. And I think the Lewis Gregory shout really interests me. I remember I was at Edgbaston this day, when Barber made 156 or 158 against England at Edgbaston, and then James Vince made a sparkling 100, and Gregory made a good 70 odd. Um,
That's when the England team got COVID, didn't they? And then they
yeah,
had to send the.
and they still beat Pakistan 3-0. Like, that was the kind of white ball depth that they had. They had John Simpson behind the stumps as well. I remember.
Active lead in the attack. And you wanna know a funny thing about the 156 from Barber was the series was already done by then. England were winning 2-0 in a three-game series, and guess what? Barber scores in a dead rubber. But that's just a little funny quirk.
But but
I just wanted to
Jamie,
get the Barber dig in before, yeah.
yeah,
Sorry about
you didn't get to do that in the last podcast. That's fine. You can have your dig now. But but genuinely, like Lewis Gregory also is a very skillful bowler as well. You don't